1st, 2023 meeting of the City of Bangor's Planning Board. My name is Reese Perkins. I'm chairman of the board. Appreciate you all showing up this evening. Other board members that are up here this evening, I would like to introduce. From my far right is Michael Basnet. Next to him is Vice Chair Ted Brush. Then Dawn Mahar, Ken Hune, and to my immediate left, Jonathan Boucher and Tricia Hayes. Josh Saucier is our alternate member, and he is up back on my right. Josh would be voting if any members are absent or recused. He may also join in the deliberations on any agenda item. Board members are volunteers from the Bangor community. City staff members in attendance this evening include Development Director Ann Krieg, City Solicitor Dave Sevchik, Planning Officer Anya Collette over on the left, and City Engineer John Terrio on the far right up there. Sound and video is provided by Communications Coordinator Cody Vigu and his crew. We appreciate their help with this meeting. The Planning Board has multiple roles. First, we review amendments to the Land Development Code, which typically include either changes to zoning districts or changes to the text within the code. Our review of these amendments includes adherence to the most recently amended comprehensive plan and is in the form of a recommendation to the City Council as to whether the item ought to pass or ought not to pass. The City Council makes the final decision on zoning and the Land Development Code changes. Second, we serve as the regulatory authority for land development permits, commonly known as site plan review. Site plans are reviewed to ensure compliance with city code as to parking, driveways, stormwater management, lighting, etc. We also ensure the plan meets the dimensional requirements for the project's zoning district. We review larger site plans that trigger site location development for the main DEP as well under their requirements. Some uses are conditional uses that have specific conditions and requirements we use to review the project. A state statute also outlines the requirements for subdivision review, and the city has additional standards as to roadway and utility specifications. Subdivision is primarily defined as a development with 3 or more lots or dwelling units. The board ultimately endorses a plan that will go to the Registry of Deeds if the plan is approved. The Land Development Code can be found on the city's website. I would like to remind everyone to please silence your cell phones this evening while you're in the meeting. When the applicant or members of the audience are asked to speak, they should come to the podium and introduce themselves, note where they are from, and address the board and the staff. When speaking, please make sure to speak up and enter the microphone and verify that the microphone's green on light is lit up. If you are on Zoom, please use the raised hand function to let us know that you would like to speak, and we will bring you into the meeting. We broadcast these meetings to streaming services. I would like you all going back to the sound for just a second. There are a few seats up here towards the front. If anyone's standing, they would prefer to sit down. There are some seats up here. If you can't hear and you are too far back and you would like to hear, you can move up to the front. The sound control room in the back also has a couple of ear phones that you can use to help you hear if you have real trouble with your hearing. Okay, so just be aware of that. And again, I remind people to speak up. A lot of people just, especially when there's a group this large, a lot of people just can't hear what you're saying unless you do. The microphones do not broadcast inside this room, just so you know. That is for our streaming services. All comments and discussions should remain respectful and considerate of all others. Any attempts to disrupt this meeting by disrespecting the views and opinions of others may result in persons being removed from the meeting. As a last resort, we will end this meeting, although I really don't want to, if it cannot continue in an orderly or considerate manner. So please just all behave yourselves, treat people respectfully, and we will be fine. We will call the applicants in the order that they appear on the agenda. When it is time for you to present your project, we'll ask the applicant or their representative to come forward to present the application. Once you have made your presentation, the applicant should stay at the podium while we take comments from staff and questions from board members. At that time, the applicant may be seated and we will then open the floor to public comments. If there are any comments from the public, we ask the person speaking to indicate if they are for or against the project. Once public comments are completed, we will close that item to public comments. We ask that you keep your comments brief and to the point. Planning Officer Collette will use a time, Development Director Ann Krieg will use a timer to help us keep track of time if we need to. It is also helpful for board members if we can refer to city codes and standards so that you indicate your reasons for support or lack of support for a project. Board members must rely on codes and standards for project approval. The board will then deliberate on the proposal using the standards found in the Land Development Code and the state statute as applicable and act on the proposal. The board may approve or deny the project or may otherwise choose to work with the applicant if there are compliance issues that could be addressed with modifications to the plan. The board may continue the application to a future meeting in order for the applicant to modify the plan or for any other reasonable cause. If you disagree with the decision of the board regarding the project, you have the right to appeal the decision to the Superior Court of Maine. Once your project has been reviewed, feel free to leave the meeting, but if you prefer, you're welcome to stay if there are other project afterwards that you would like to listen to. All projects, once approved by the board, must apply for construction permits with the code office. All approved projects need to be started within 6 months of our decision and completed within 2 years. Extensions for good cause may be granted. We thank all the applicants for taking the time to present their project for our review. This process is important for the city's development and the direction of our future. All right, so on the agenda tonight, the first item is land development. There were 2 items on there, but this is under Land Development Code amendments, which, as I said previously, the city council has final authority on those items. I would ask the board members that we would choose an ought to pass or ought not to pass motion. These will typically be finally reviewed at the next meeting of the city council. So the first one is a zone change. This is at 586 Main Street. And it is to amend the land development code by changing a parcel of land at map lot 026046B from urban service district, which is a USD district, to waterfront development district, WWD. Said area of land contains approximately 0.9 acres total. The applicant is Mason's Brewing Company / Christopher Morley. The owner is Maine Strain Distributors LLC / Dylan G. Proctor. And so I see Chris on Zoom. Hi, Chris. And I assume you're the one that's going to present this, Chris, if you would like.
I am Reese.
Give us a scope on your project.
Thank you, Reese, and thank you, City Council and Planning Board members. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. I've got a head cold, so I was going to show up in person, but I didn't want to infect you all because I want you to vote yes on this before Thanksgiving. So what we're proposing is a zone change to the waterfront business district. What we plan on doing is we're going to rent the space that's about 3,400 square feet, and it'll become a production distillery. It'll also be a storage facility for us for the on the Mason side and Brewer for excess cans and surplus of grain, along with barrel aging some of our projects. We will also be doing a production spirits, so we'll be producing gin, vodka, whiskey, and moonshine, some of which will be bottled on site and some of which will be taken off site and then canned over at our brewer location. One of the reasons we chose this site is it's the old Shriners building, for those who aren't familiar. We are renting the middle space and about half of that middle space, which used to be the old kitchen. And it's set up pretty useful for us, where it's a ceramic floor. It's got multiple water drains, power hookup, water utilities. So it made some sense. We've looked at a couple different locations throughout the region, and we kind of settled on this one. So that is kind of the nuts and bolts of what we're trying to do.
Thank you, Chris. Could you just give us a little help on why the zone change, though?
You would have to ask your people, because your people told me that that's what needed to be done.
I almost did, Chris, but you were up first, so
That's fine.
I
Yeah,
I
nope.
asked you, which the next step in the process is to ask the staff if they have any comments. That would be the first question, I guess. Anya?
Yeah, so this use technically falls under, we have a specific use in the Waterfront Development District that calls out like craft breweries, craft beverage businesses like this one. It's really the only zone where we have that use called out. And so to do this where they wanted, that's why they're applying for the zone change to waterfront development. It is a conditional use in that zone, so they would have to come back for a conditional use permit approval as well later, so.
Thank you, Officer Collette. Any other comments on this project?
None for me, I'm good.
Okay. Board members have any questions of either staff or the applicant? Seeing none, I will entertain any public comment, if there is any public comment on this project. I see none. I see nobody on Zoom with raised hands. So I'm going to assume we're all done with public comment for this project. I'm going to close the public comment section. And I would, unless there are any deliberations necessary from the board members, I would look for a motion. Member Maher.
Yes, I would make a motion to recommend to the Bangor City Council a zone change, and that would be at 586 Main Street, map lot 26-46-B. And that would be changing the zone from urban service district to waterfront development district.
Thank you. And a second from member Bazinet was up first, so I'll give him credit for that one. And any other questions, board members, comments, board members? I can go with the raise a hand on this one. All in favor, raise the right hand. Any opposed? None. So that is unanimous. Chris, your zone change is approved. Once it goes to the city council, that'll be the next step. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
And we're all set with that item. And so the next item on the agenda is called out as a zone change for 424 State Street, but my understanding is that that has been requested to be postponed until the next meeting. And
Did you want me to comment or?
if you want to.
Okay. There was an error in the first ad. These things have to be advertised twice. The first one had an error in the ad, so in order to sufficiently advertise according to code, we asked to postpone it to December 5th.
Excellent. Thank you, Officer Collette. So I think we do need to vote to postpone this to the next meeting. Could I have a motion to postpone? Member Bazinet, do I have a second? Member Hume, thank you. Raise of hands would be in favor of. All in favor? Any opposed? None. So unanimous vote. Zone change at 424 State Street is postponed until the meeting of December 5th. All right, so we've gone through two items here. Land development permits is the next group of items on the agenda this evening. The first one is land development permit, major site development and minus SLOTA revision. This project is at 631 Hogan Road, is a proposed retail store, approximately 3,150 square feet. Map lot R69006C in the general commercial and service district. The applicant is M&H Springwater LLC. So I would be happy to hear from the applicant on this project.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, my name's Andy Johnston. I'm a principal and civil engineer with Atlantic Resource Consultants, and we're happy to be here on behalf of the applicant on what we hope is going to be a good redevelopment project and a reuse of an existing vacant site that will not only benefit that site, but also tidy up the scenery of that area and hopefully bring a little life to it. So the property we're talking about is the former site of the Burger King on Springer Drive, right on the corner of Hogan Road. That property has been vacant for a number of years. I think people are probably tired of seeing that building vacant. It's not in very good shape. In fact, it's deteriorated to the extent that it's not salvageable at all, that building at this point. So the plan here really is to redevelop that site, demolish that building, put up a new building, which will be a Verizon store. It's about 3,150 square feet, the new building. And from a site perspective, a lot of the infrastructure is actually in pretty good shape. The pavement's a little untidy. There are some elements of the site that don't quite suit the orientation and the size of the new building. So we're going to do some tidying up really there. And the landscaping around the edges, and you'll see there's quite a lot of landscaping still in place around the site. But again, it's looking a little tired. It doesn't meet the current standards, and it certainly could use a little sprucing up. So the plan, one of the key elements of the plan here, the site circulation will stay basically the same as it is now. Sorry, you have to look down, but I didn't want to put up something in front of everybody here so they can, you do have copies, yeah. So the site circulation will stay basically the same, although the parking's been reoriented a little bit to face the front of the building and provide a more attractive entrance to the building. There is one element we're adding at the entrance, which is an island to try and prevent people from turning left out into Springer Drive because of the proximity to the Hogan Road intersection. I say try to prevent. These things work somewhat, but you know, it's the best you can do because we still have to maintain circulation in and out of the site. There is a lot of parking on the site, but that is one of the things that attracts some of the retail customers here. So even though the ordinance only calls for 11 parking spaces, there are obviously a lot more than that. But again, that is part of the marketability of the site in general. As far as utilities go, we're going to reuse basically all of the existing utilities. We are going to take a hard look at the sewer line because it was a former fast food restaurant. And they tend to be very heavy grease producers. So we're going to camera that line. There was a grease trap there, but we're going to camera that line to make sure it's in good shape before we reuse it. We have an existing water service that will serve this building just fine from a domestic perspective. We are going to bring in a new line because this new building will be sprinklered. So there'll be a new line coming in from Springer Drive to service that. It'll reuse the existing gas and it'll reuse the existing electrical service, which comes underground from the pole. As far as stormwater goes, the new plan actually reduces the impervious cover at the site. You'll see quite a lot of green space on the new site plan. It all drains towards Hogan Road and kind of drains off into these untidy curb cuts along the edge of the Hogan Road interface right now. What we're planning for stormwater management is a shallow bioretention cell, which will be planted and will treat the runoff that comes off that end before it goes into the ditch along Hogan Road. So we are providing some additional stormwater treatment. There's none on the site right now. They're just all sheet flows right off the site. And the other element I'd like to point out, and you see it in your packets, there is quite a lot of additional landscaping going around the edges of the site and in the interior of the site. Again, as I said, just to tidy the place up a little bit. The new building's going to look pretty nice. And so we're adding some elements around the site as well to improve the aesthetics of that. And that's the basic rundown, and I'd be happy to take questions.
Okay, before we get to any other questions, could you explain the lot and kind of the plan development part of the project?
Yes, this is a lot which is right next to the Longhorn Steakhouse. There are a number of cross easements and a number of beneficial cross easements between the two properties. So essentially, even though the parking lots can be used separately, they kind of interlink. So if there's overflow parking on the Longhorn, they can park on this lot, and similarly the other way around. And one of the key things on the site, you'll see that big driveway going around the back and all the way around. And it looks like there's a heap of space there. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is technically we should have a loading zone, even though this being a Verizon store, all they deliver comes in small vans. So we don't really need a loading zone. But also when you look at the way the big 18-wheelers come into Longhorn, they actually take that route right through this site and around the back. So that radius around the back there is designed to accommodate the continued through traffic for Longhorn to get up around the back. And if you go out on the site now, you can see the wheel tracks of where they go right now. And they need plenty of room, those big guys. So the two sites are somewhat interlinked. They're interlinked by permit and they're somewhat interlinked. And so there's beneficial uses and cross easements between those two properties.
Excellent, thank you. If you would stay up, I would like to see if there are staff comments. Officer Collette on this one.
I did just want to point out, since you mentioned the planned group development, it isn't in the subtext that you have in your memo. I did just want to make sure it's included in the motion for the project that it's a planned group development. So,
The plan development agreement.
yeah, it's essentially the same thing, but the fact that it's a planned group development as well as a major site development and minor slaughter revision. So,
But if I may, there is an agreement that needs to be obtained.
well, they have that
Okay,
because they've shown the right title and interest on
Okay.
both properties. So,
okay, thank you. I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So what I should do at this point is because this is a site development and Planning Officer Collette has put together the typical checklist, which is in your packet on page 65. We should vote board members on the completeness of the application, which Officer Collette, I believe, signed off by email on October 13th. That is also in your packet. I do understand before we get to that, there was a signage question.
that had been resolved.
That's got resolved.
Should have been in there. Yeah.
Thank you. And there were other number of comments and questions. I think those all did get resolved as I could see from the packet. So unless board members have a question on the completeness of the packet, and I would say we could address those either to the project representative or to Planning Officer Collette, then I would look for motion on the completeness of the application and that it is ready for review.
Chair, I move that the application is complete,
And the application is ready for review.
yeah, and ready for review.
Thank you, Member Hume. Do I have a second on that? Member Brush, thank you. I will go with a roll call vote. Member Bazinet,
Yes.
Member Boucher,
Yes, complete.
Member Brush,
Yes.
Member Hayes,
Yes.
Member Hume,
Yes.
Member Mahar,
Yes.
and myself, I vote yes as well. So we have gotten through the application is acceptable and ready to be reviewed. And so do board members have any other questions of the applicant on any other portion of the project? Or any other concerns? If not, I'm going to open this up for public comment. Anyone here in the room who would like to comment and or ask a question on this project? Anyone on Zoom, a raise of hand would indicate that you would like to ask a question on this project. Seeing none, I will close public comment. And so we get to deliberation. I think board members, we should deliberate on two things. One, we should have a motion on the application as per the standards of 165, 114. Essentially, that's items B through J in that section of the code. So if there is no more deliberation, I would like a motion to approve per 165, 114.
Mr. Chair, I
Member Hume?
make a motion that this application does in fact meet 165, 114.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Member Brush? Before I get to a vote on that, I did want to ask, and Staff Officer Colette, would be fine to ask on this one. This, section of the code, asks us to look at pedestrian travel, and there are no sidewalks on this project.
The applicant might be able to answer that, but I'm pretty sure that they did show sidewalks around the building.
Maybe I just missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, around the building. So that's one of the things we tidied up. So around the building, particularly in front of the handicap parking at the front of the building and around wrapping around the side down to where the staff parking is, there are concrete sidewalks there.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you. That was the one thing. I did see the handicap parking, but I didn't see the sidewalks. Thank you. We just got some of these blueprints this evening too, but I apologize for the question. Okay, so I've got a motion to approve the application per 165, 114 and a second on that. I will go the roll call vote on that. Member Bazinet,
Yes.
Member Boucher,
Yes.
Member Brush,
Yes.
Member Hayes,
Yes.
Member Hume,
Yes.
Member Mahar,
Yes.
and myself, the chair, I vote yes as well. And so the other thing, as Officer Colette indicated, is we need to vote on 165-69, which is the specifications for a plan development. And there is an agreement. You did confirm that? There is an agreement
Yes.
that we have. Yeah. So we're all set on that. So I would look for a motion that the project meets the requirements of 165-69, a plan development.
Yeah, Chair, I make a motion that this project does meet 165, 69.
Member Hume, thank you. And a second on that. Member Bazinet was up first, so I'll give that to him. And so we've got a motion and a second. So roll call vote would be Member Bazinet first,
Yes.
Member Boucher,
Yes.
Member Brush,
Yes.
Member Hayes,
Yes.
Member Hume,
Yes.
Member Mahar,
Yes.
and chair votes yes. And so having been through that, then the final vote should be and is, and we would look for a motion to approve the project as a major site development with minus slaughter, as described in our upfront description of the project. Can I get a motion on that?
Yes, Chair.
Member Hume?
Make a motion that we approve this as a major site development and minor slot of revision, 631 Hogan Road, map lot R69-006-C.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Member Boucher, thank you. I will, and by the way, board members, as this is a little bit different step process at this point, since we voted yes on all the other things, it's kind of automatic. We still have to vote for it. See what I mean by that? So roll call vote, Member Bazinet,
Yes.
Member Boucher,
Yes.
Member Brush,
Yes.
Member Hayes,
Yes.
Member Hume,
Yes.
Member Mahar,
Yes.
and chair votes yes as well. So your project is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your application. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is land development permit, major site development, preliminary, major subdivision and conditional use. Should have this down by heart. Lancaster Avenue and East Broadway, map lot 0040043, 0044039, 044040, 044041, 044058, and 044059. This is a development of 60 attached residential units and the construction of 1,950 feet of new private road along with utilities, a property located on Lancaster Ave and East Broadway. map lots, I've already given you that, in the low density residential district, and the applicant owner is Team Properties. I have some notes to add to this project because this is extended over a number of meetings. So the first meeting that we had on this particular application happened on 11/14. That was last Tuesday. And the board has previously voted on conflicts of interest issues, the application's completeness, and the applicant has presented the project. Tonight, we will continue review of this project with a public hearing, allowing public comment during the public hearing. The board also recognizes that multiple emails, PowerPoint presentations, as well as notes of phone calls to the planning department regarding this issue have been received. Those have been forwarded to the board members for review as much as possible prior to this meeting. We literally just got some things in the last hour and a half, and are part of the board members' packets. In the expediency of time, public comments on this item are limited to 3 minutes per person, one comment period only. One comment period per person only, I should say. Development Director Krieg will use the timer, as I mentioned earlier, to keep track of this. I believe the timer has a 30-second warning.
Yes.
Thank you. So it will give you a 30-second warning, and then at the end of 3 minutes, we'll ask you to please sit down unless board members have questions for that particular person. If they do, then board members should speak up and they can ask that person the question. We can continue the conversation with that person. It is helpful if you keep your comments brief and to the point. It is also helpful if you relate your comments as much as possible to planning board standards. That's what the board has to ultimately use to accept or reject the project. I do know that there was some a PowerPoint presentation, a couple of them, possibly 3 that came through earlier this evening. I don't know if 3 minutes is enough time for you to do that. Those of you that have those, the board will nonetheless see those in their emails. But if you would like to hit the highlights of your PowerPoint during your 3 minutes, please feel free to do so. If not, you may just go right to the particular comments that you want to get across. But again, remember that what we're trying to do is get to the standards that are impactful to the project. So with that in mind, the public hearing is now open. I would listen to comments from any of the public, and I'll go by just a raise of the hand in the room. Yes, sir.
Knew that was coming and it's going to be a long night. So hi, everyone. Jason Bird. I'm the Housing Development Director for Penquis. I'm here tonight to talk in favor of the project. As many of you know, and everyone in the room should know, we have an affordable housing crisis. Housing of all types, sizes, income levels is desperately needed. This project adds a number of those. The other thing I want to talk about very quickly is the fact that when an application gets to this stage in the review, for all intents and purposes, or most intents and purposes, it should be largely technical review at that point, right? The best time to envision what should or could happen in a neighborhood should be done during the comprehensive plan process or any other time between that time and when a project comes to fruition, right? Because if nothing else, you want to establish certainty for property owners and for developers, right? So it's very important that someone who owns a piece of property has the ability to plan and determine what makes sense or what they can or cannot do at their site. And I would encourage you all, the city planning board, members of the council have all been very supportive of housing projects, recognizing your role in that important phase of us addressing what is decades of underinvestment in housing. But if we start introducing emotion, ambiguity, or what have you in that development process, that could have a very chilling effect on developers, because now if they have no idea what they can and can't do, you're going to stymie development, obviously. You're going to stymie the ability for people to develop housing and help address this crisis. But you're also going to limit even for-profit commercial developers, because now you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to this stage and still not know what is or isn't permissible for your property. So I encourage you all to approve the property or approve the project again, assuming it meets all the technical merits that the developer and staff have gone through at length. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd. And so I'll go to the white shirt. Yep. Sir, go ahead.
First of all, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Nick Siebert. I'm here speaking in Sorry about that, guys. My fiance and I have been looking for permanent housing for over 2 years in the Bangor and surrounding areas with absolutely no luck. Until we came across the Main Woods subdivision. When we learned and were informed about this subdivision, we were more than ecstatic. It is exactly what we've been looking for the past 2 years. New construction, it's affordable and close to everything in Bangor and the greater Bangor region. I know firsthand how incredibly difficult it is to find affordable, suitable, and desirable living accommodations. All the houses we had looked at prior to these townhouses, and there were many, were either 30 to 50 years old and or needed thousands of dollars of work just to be able to live in there safely. 95% of them were completely out of our price range as well. Mainwood subdivision is exactly the kind of housing that's absolutely needed in this area for young professionals or any professionals for that matter, like myself. Housing, and housing is such a great need in the Bangor area. Mainwoods would help to fulfill a lot of that need, and we couldn't be more excited to become part of the great Bangor community. We intend to be great neighbors to all of our neighbors and look forward to building our life here for many, many years. I 100% stand behind this project, and I certainly hope the city of Bangor will do the same. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Blue shirt, lady in the blue shirt.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Michaela Ellis, and I have lived in Bangor for the past 3.5 years, and I'm speaking in support of this project. After graduating from the University of Maine with my teaching degree, I secured a job in the area, and I found an apartment to rent. It was not long after I moved that I knew Bangor was where I wanted to stay. So I began searching for a home to purchase. And I quickly discovered that the homes available were either affordable or fit to live in, but never both. So I continued to rent. Each month I watched my money grow wings and fly away, building no equity. Since I moved to Bangor, that's $35,650 out the window. That's more than my starting salary was my first year teaching, and that's gross income, not net. I don't think there's anyone in this room who wouldn't prefer to have that much money invested in a home instead of paid to a landlord. But the current options in Bangor have made that impossible for me. When I learned of this proposed development, I grew excited. Bangor is where I want to live and raise my family, and this could be my chance to do so. I stand here before you as the future, a role which once belonged to my parents and grandparents, and one which will one day belong to my children and grandchildren. If you want young people to come to Bangor and to stay in Bangor, there have to be safe, affordable options for housing. This city is a great place to live, but only because people are living in it. Don't wait for people to stumble upon our beautiful city. Invite them in and offer them a home. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, with a hat on?
Okay, I'm sorry, it's on now. Yep. Hey, we have lost our power 5 times in this year alone so far. Twice has been vehicle accidents on Essex Street and Grandview Avenue that took out telephone poles each time. And so those were tragic accidents, but nonetheless took out our power. We've lost power 3 times during storms. Those times we spent about 39 hours on our generator, 39 hours on our backup generator. I am really concerned about the ability of our region to be able to support such a development. The infrastructure there, we have very low water pressure. We have needed boost pumps there, which is fairly common to all of our neighbors. And the response from the water district is that that's all they can do. You have to be very careful when you flush the toilet at my house if you're taking a shower. Somebody else flushes the toilet. We do lose our water pressure that easily. And we have serious concerns about the volume of water that we do have. When I decided to needed to be able to take care of my parents, I did apply to the city for the opportunity to build on to my house. The city code enforcement denied me the opportunity to build an apartment. And that is something, okay, that is something that also impacts my opinion of the ability of our area to support this infrastructure. So thank you much.
Thank you. The gentleman in the far back, you've raised your hand a bunch, so try and get to everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Daniel Farrow, and I'm here in support of this project. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, a concrete carpenter, husband to a loving wife, stepfather to a great son. Bangor has been my home since I rooted myself here in 2020 to pursue the career in which I now work. And I have a vested interest in this project coming to its fruition. On November 10th, last week, my family and I received the gift of a lifetime, a new home. We are to be the first family to move into this new neighborhood. When I first drove by and noticed the start of work off of Lancaster Avenue, my first thought was progress and positive growth. In order for our infrastructure to be maintained across the city, our first responders to be well-trained, and our schools to continue to be a great foundation for our children, we must have revenue. And this development and its 60 units will provide added tax revenue to the city. Revenue is critical to the future of Bangor. When I first learned that a townhome was being given away to a veteran and their family, I thought, of course, I'm going to write an essay and I'm going to try, because I would do anything to give my family a new home and a better life. So when Doc Goodwin of the Maine Veterans Project, Emily Ellis of Team Properties, and several members of local media showed up on my door on November 10th, I was in shock. And it was a dream come true and a prayer answered. My story is just one of many. So many people in this city and people who want to move here are struggling to find homes. My wife and I would look on Zillow one day, and the next afternoon a house would be sold. The turnover rate is high. These new homes being built will build deep roots for individuals with skills and careers. It'll provide foundations for families. It's an investment opportunity in the future of the city, and we can't afford to waste it. I was not able to attend the previous meeting as I was working away in Lewiston. However, I did tune in on Facebook, and in that meeting, the developer's attorney and engineer had a lot to say. They laid out the legal requirements and standards, and from what I understood, everything seems to be being met. And these are modest duplexes. It's not a large, bulky apartment building. They're fit for families, right for the planning of an addition to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Red shirt, glasses over there.
Hi, my name is Tammy Peabody, and I live at 612 Essex Street, and I moved there in 2018. When I moved there in 2018, I was told that there was a piece of property out back that could be developed. Gave me, full disclosure that there could be a development going in there. Our plan was a 5-year plan to live in the house and then flip it. My husband wanted to buy the land to, walk around in, and I get that. That was fun for all the kids. My kids used it, dirt bikes, whatever, but I'm in favor of the project moving forward. It's a mess out there right now. I would like to see it developed and look beautiful with homes and trees and driveways. I put up a fence because this is my property and I don't want their people and my people to mix. I have a fence up. They were fine with that. There was a giant tree in front of my fence that broke pine branches off every year. Before I put my fence up, I wanted to have that taken down. They took it down that day. Last week, I called over because there was a stream running down. I'm like, we either got to build a bridge or you got to do something about it. And within 2 hours, the water stopped. So they've been very reasonable. And when I had an insurance agency come over, because I had to file a claim last year, which caused my insurance to double. So I had a new insurance agency come over and take a look at my property. And they said, this development is only going to increase the value of your home. So I am in favor of the project moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Come on.
Hi, Reese. Thank you. You all received a letter last week from me as well, but I just wanted to read it and give some stats. I'm Courtney Mullins here on behalf of the Greater Bangor Association of Realtors as the incoming 2024 president. I'm here in support of Mainwood subdivision. I want to share some stats of our current real estate market on behalf of our organization. As many of you are familiar, Team Property intends to build 60 buildings, 60 units, a little over 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths at a target price range of $259,000 and $265,000. Currently, as of today, we only have 53 homes actively in the market in Bangor. Between 200,000 and 300,000 currently on the market, there are only 15 homes. If you want to look for homes between 200,000 and 300,000, newer construction built after 2000, there are 0 homes on the market. In the recent Maine Association of Realtors October press release, Penobscot County from July 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2022, and July 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2023, median sale price in Penobscot County was $262,500, which is up 10.85%, with number of units down 23.04%. Historically, it has been said that 5 or 6 months of supply is associated with a balanced real estate market. Right now in Bangor, our supply of inventory is 1.6 months. As we know, for the past years, we have been in a housing crisis. Every stat I provided indicate we have a low supply of homes on the market, which is increasing the price of homes. One solution to the problem is to build and provide more homes for buyers, and the market will correct itself. Team Properties has stepped up to help our housing crisis, trying to provide 60 new homes to buyer, which is currently more homes that are on the market altogether in Bangor at this time. Team Properties is building these homes under the current medium sold price to make these homes more affordable than 50% of what's currently on the market. I'm going to summarize a little bit. The Greater Bangor Association of Realtors urge you to approve the Main Woods subdivision. These homes will most likely be sold before they're completed, with only the market currently being 8 days on market, the average home. With approval of Main Woods subdivision and Team Property stepping up to help our housing crisis, it will pave the way for other construction development to take place in Bangor. We can all work together to provide more housing in Bangor and solve this crisis. On behalf of Greater Bangor Association of Realtors, we'd like to thank Main Team Properties for accepting the challenge of taking our housing crisis. They can't do this without your help. Thank you.
But
evening.
if I may, just to be clear, if you hear 2 beeps when you're speaking, that gives you 30 seconds, okay? Thank you.
I only need 30 seconds. Good evening, planning board members. My name is Susan McKay. I'm a native Bangorian. I have lived on DeWitt Avenue, 2 streets away from Lancaster, since 1961. Over these many years, I've seen new neighborhoods develop around my home in the fields and the pastures that I played in as a child. I used to go frogging off Grandview in that stream right there. I know what a privilege it is to live in our section of Bangor. The number of houses has multiplied over the years, and when the Holiday Mobile Home Park was developed there was quite an uproar. People who were against the developments saw houses, trailers, and traffic. I saw families who wanted to live in Bangor and work in Bangor. We have very few places now in the Bangor area where houses can be built, where neighborhoods can be built. The housing shortage in Bangor, as you've already heard, is debilitating. Please focus on the long-term benefits of homeowners who want to raise their families in Bangor. My understanding is this project was already approved. The developer went forward in good faith. We need more spaces for good people to live in Bangor. And I'll welcome into my neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. A black shirt there? Yep.
Hi, my name is Thomas Francis. I work in financial technology and I'm a certified home inspector. I moved to Maine a year and a half ago with the hopes of purchasing a home in the Bangor area. This is where I want to start my family and establish my career. Shortly after moving here, I obtained my home inspector license and started my own business, one of many I hope to have in the future. Since living here, I've seen many homes that are unfit for living. Personally, it has been very difficult to find a home within budget. When I have found an affordable home, it's required thousands of dollars in repairs to make it actually livable. Rent at one point was used as a catalyst to get into your dream home, but it's practically impossible now for young professionals to save while renting. This development that Emily Ellis and Woods of Maine are building can make the dream of home ownership possible for so many. I implore everybody listening to support this project and allow the work on this development to resume. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Far corner?
Hi, my name is Marie Seymour and I'm for this project. I grew up at 663 North Front Street. My parents have owned this house for 30 years. My husband just spoke a minute ago, also won the house from the Main Woods development through the Main Veterans Project. This development is clearly affecting my family in many ways. From what I had seen from the last meeting, what I have heard from neighbors' complaints, there are some complaints that I think I should address as someone who has actually grown up in this neighborhood and who's there all the time. For as long as I can remember, one issue has always been flooding on the corner of Aldine Street and North French Street. We used to ride our bikes through those puddles and flooding all the time as kids, like kids do. People are complaining that it's from the development and it's not. This past spring in front of the Blue Knight building, on that same corner where the yearly seasonal flooding is, there was a piping issue that caused the road to kind of cave in. However, my parents had the same issue a couple years prior, and it was no way, shape, or form related to the development at all. As for noise complaints that seem to be an issue for this neighborhood, we live in the middle of a city between Broadway and Essex Street, right next to a highway. Neighbors have had construction. They've had houses torn down, houses even built within the last 20 years. People have moved in and out of neighborhoods. You never know who you're going to get as neighbors. However, most people who are looking for homes in this area are young people trying to start their lives. This neighborhood is in no way, shape, or form a homeowners association where we regulate noise, construction, or even demolition. So why is this development becoming an issue? My son goes to school at William S. Cohen. My parents live still on North French Street. And my husband and I have been trying to find a home for the last 2 years. And everything in our area is out of budget or unmanageable to buy. My husband and I have met with Emily Ellis and Mike Wood a few times, and they are very kind and generous people. The hate they have received from this neighborhood I have called home for 30 years is completely inexcusable. On behalf of our neighborhood, I would like to apologize to Mike and Emily, because this is just absolutely inexcusable. Neighbors, some feel negatively about this project, but not all neighbors. We would welcome them all with open arms. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Lori Cody Dunn. I live at 634 Essex Street, and I am opposed to the project. I would not be opposed if it was smaller, but the idea of 60 units out there is just a little bit too much. I've lived there for 20 years. Yes, I have used the land. My camper sat on the edge of the property, but also I love the land. We mowed it. We took care of the trees when branches would fall down. And the pool is on my property. The other night you mentioned that people went so far as putting up a pool. It's my land. And I'm just a little concerned that they don't seem to have to follow the rules like the rest of us do. I watch them put up the poles. I watched them put up the electrical wires after the stop order. I watched them. I didn't watch it. I went to work Monday morning. I get very emotional about this. And I came home at lunch, and there were 3 sides of another building up after the work stop order. I called Jeff Wallace. I've had conversations with him. He basically told me that I was a liar, that it went up on Friday. And I really feel that there should be consequences for not following the rules. And I have a question about the wetland delineation. When was the last time that that was done? Was that the 2005 or 2006?
I'm not sure we're going to be able to get into that kind of question, but if you do have a question like that, you can contact the planning board directly, and I'm sure like
Sure.
Officer Collette could get that information for you.
Okay, and back to the fact that we have used the land. The gentleman, Nate Smith, who used to own 612, we used the land because he encouraged people along the field to use it. He never wanted it sold. He wanted people to enjoy it. So we weren't just using land that did not belong to us. We started using land that we had somebody's blessing. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Jeff.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board and staff. My name is Jeff Gray. I live at 100 Lancaster, and I oppose the Maine Woods project. I have about a 20-minute PowerPoint presentation. Am I going to be able to do that tonight?
Oh, as I said earlier, 3 minutes. We've received your PowerPoint presentation as one or two of the others directly by email, which we'll be able to view if we haven't viewed them already. Some of us have.
Yeah, it's just slides, and it really doesn't make any sense unless I can give my presentation along with the slides.
If you would like to annotate the PowerPoint presentation where we could see it and read it through email, that would be fine, Jeff. But 3 minutes, it's 3 minutes.
Okay, well, I appreciate all the comments about needing more housing in Bangor. And I agree. I think we can all agree on that. It's affecting every city in the country. But we got to make sure that we develop our land responsibly, and this project is totally irresponsible. We don't have the infrastructure to handle that type of traffic. That's one of our main concerns. We're concerned about water diversion. That site is prone to flooding. In fact, the whole neighborhood is quite saturated with water due to the geology, and we just feel like there's going to be a lot of water diversion cases come out of this development. And the other thing, it doesn't conform with the neighborhood. It doesn't pass the conditional use provisions in the code. It's a lot denser than the surrounding properties. The parking is going to be on the street. We're a neighborhood of driveways and garages and basements. These buildings will be built on slabs. People will be parking in the street. There's no storage. They'll be storing their campers and boats and snowmobiles and four-wheelers on the street. I think it's going to be a real eyesore to have that many units in that small space. So that's another reason it doesn't meet the conditional use. So those are our three biggest concerns. Of course, traffic safety, water diversion, and the non-conformity with the rest of the neighborhood in terms of density, bulk, height. We really feel that Team Property should go back to the drawing board and build something that's more compatible with the neighborhood. They've shown that they can build regular single-family homes affordably, and that would be a much better fit for that lot.
Thank you, Mr. Grass.
So you're suggesting that I perhaps give you, send this in to Anya, and she can put it with my,
That's fine.
and then
Yes.
you folks will get a chance to look at that.
Yep, exactly.
So we have other people here that we're gonna do the same thing.
Right.
Brian, do you want to? Yes.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Brian Ames. I'm a resident of 124 Lancaster Avenue. And I too have provided a PowerPoint presentation that will take about 15 minutes to present. However, understanding that we have a 3-minute rule, I'll do the best that I can. I do want to say, however, that we had met previously with your planning staff and requested the opportunity to do a PowerPoint presentation. We were given that assurance that we would be able to do that. So I have to complain somewhat that we're not able to take advantage of a lot of work that we put in making these slides. And now we don't really know if they're going to be looked at or understood. So I have a little bit of a complaint here. Nonetheless, what I've shown is information and outlines of mapping that was done to locate and identify housing types in this area that range from single family to 1.5 stories to 2-story buildings in height. You'll notice on the back side of that handout that there is an illustration of the types of buildings and how they are defined in terms of story heights. Basically, the 2 stories are very easy to tell. They're a 2-story building. The roof is at the ceiling line of the building. So we use that as our criteria. We go around and we take a look at what buildings are. We find that predominantly there's 1 to 1.5 story buildings. You can see the amounts on the paper. I don't remember offhand, but the fact is that there are only several 2-story buildings in that entire immediate network of 500 square feet perimeter. You can see by the color coding that the duplex buildings in the center of the lot are very intensely situated and do not meet the standard of approval for conditional use. This applies to not only the building style, but the building bulk and the intensity of the site use. You can see these in the various slides that have been produced. So with that, I would say it's our contention that this project is not approvable due to that very large concern that we have these issues and they are measurable in terms of intensity. And we therefore ask that you reconsider the conditional use permit and ask the developer to come back with a different mix of buildings that more appropriate to the conditional use criteria. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Questions?
Nope. Thank you. In the back.
Hi, my name is Paula Logan. I live at 622 Essex Street. And my concern is how much more are they going to build up the land before they build the houses? Because right now I feel like I live at the base of a mountain. And I know the housing, the height requirement, they're less than that. I heard that at the planning board meeting last week that they're 27 and they can go as high as 30. But really, how high is it going to sit? Their first floor will look over my house right now when they build it right beside mine. So I'm really worried about how it's just gonna look horrible. The whole neighborhood's gonna look terrible from that side of Essex Street. My other concern is the water runoff. My backyard was more wet this year than it ever has been, ever. And once the snow melts, all that snow that they push forward, where's it going? Where's the water going? What are they gonna do with it? What's their plan? I mean, I don't want to live in a river. I don't have much of a backyard, and that's fine. That's what I bought when I bought the house, but I don't want to live in a river. And I'm worried about flooding in my house, in the basement. Those are my concerns. And I want you to think about the height requirements. You should go and drive by, look in my driveway and see where the land is. You're looking up, and they haven't even built the houses yet. I don't think they're even done with leveling the land. It's a lot. It's too much. That's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman, member of the board, city officials. My name is Dave Moyce. I own and operate Moyce Environmental Services here in Bangor. Been doing this 37 years. John and I, we worked together for a long time. I can easily say there's probably very few people in the city of Bangor that have walked many tracts of land in Bangor that I have. I wish I could say the glacier last time I was here blessed us, but it didn't. As many of you know, we've got our share of ledge and certainly more than our share of clay soils, poorly drained. But I can say with confidence that this is probably one of the better tracts of land that I've walked in a long time in the greater Bangor area, as far as suitability for this project. We looked at the wetlands, we looked at the soils on that. I'm not here in an official capacity. I wasn't asked to be here, but I felt compelled, given everything that's going on with this project, to come and make that statement and make sure that was clear to the board. And this site is suitable from a soils perspective. Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, DEP, regulatory agencies have all done their review. We're all good there. The other hat I wear is also a real estate developer. I've done 3 subdivisions in the greater Bangor area, residential, and 1 business park. And I've been through this process many times. And I think it's very important that we not only have consistency, fairness, but the other big thing you need to have is predictability. If you're going to want people to come into the city of Bangor, invest money in infrastructure and housing, you hear about housing, then we hear you about what can we do to stop the project. That's going to change. People are going to come to the city of Bangor and are going to invest money and build houses. There has to be predictability such that they know if they're going to do what they're supposed to do, they follow the ordinance, they get approved. It's that simple. It's not, my wife, it's just my wife and I, like we've done all these projects. I know what the investment is. With Mike and Emily, it's the same way. It's an investment. It's a tremendous amount of money. I know that's not considered to some point, particularly not by a lot of the opponents, but it's there. So you need to have predictability in the process. If they meet the ordinance, should be approved. Really that simple. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Glad to answer any questions about the soils or wetlands or anything about the project when they get to that point.
I don't see any at the, thank you very much. Yep. Okay, yes.
Sorry, I too thought I had a PowerPoint, so I just need to send this. All right. I've been unable to locate a updated topographical map, so I don't know what the elevation increase has been with all of the different soil that they brought in, but this project separated by only a metal fence and wetlands from the DOT's bridge project. Reese, when you drove up the road of Broadway Heights, you could not distinguish between the construction that was going on with the DOT versus the main woods. That means 2 things. 1, this project is impacting the same piece of land at the same time. And 2, Main Woods is a big enough project for you to question which piece of equipment. We absolutely should have a construction fence going all the way around it to protect the neighborhood, because we have sustained, I myself personally have sustained thousands and thousands of dollars to my property through no fault of my own. Their map D1 post-development stamped November 1st by Scott Braley indicates that there is 1,662 square feet of wetlands located behind building number 12. That disappears on a number of maps. If that is actually an accurate number plus the 2,300, that's 4,000. How many square feet are the wetlands where Alden Street is located, where they've put their stormwater into? Would that matter? Would that put them over the 4,500 foot threshold and they would need to get some sort of additional permitting? You'd need to see an updated wetland map, which I cannot find no matter who I contact. Also, 13 of the 15 test pits showed ledge. 2 of their test pits were located on other people's property. Tim said last week that they were relatively small duplexes, but Emily in the first meeting said that they were 1,520 square feet, which is larger than any other that they have done. Each duplex only gets 2 parking spots located in a shared driveway with your duplex neighbor. 4 spots, they're all crammed together. Good luck with your family car seats, strollers, or wheelchairs. There is no handicapped accessible parking, no overflow parking, no sheds, no outbuildings, and no garages allowed. If you have more than 2 cars, you have to park on the street. The developer indicated, unlike a city street requires a wider width than a private road. So will cars be able to easily pass through the congested area with all the many parked cars? Also, on their forms, it shows that their mailboxes this big, 60 of them are located in between buildings 1 and 2. If you look at that map, it's directly in the entrance. That would be a traffic congestion. It would be a problem. Also, if you have 12 acres, you can locate your mailboxes somewhere that's not going to be obtrusive to the rest, to the people that are 20 feet from those. Also, sorry, I'm like, I guess that is going to That's all I can squeeze in my time. But I would just ask you to be thoughtful about it because this is a 50-foot drop from Lancaster to East Broadway directly on the highway. The soil is murky, clay soil. If they're building on top of it, it's going to settle as it settles. It's going to rain. If they're out there working 8 hours a day with a crew of 4, erosion control, how is it that people's backyards are still raining? That's not okay. They're still ripping out trees, which it's their property. They're allowed to do so. However, when you're ripping out 100-year-old root structured trees, that's not going to control erosion. That's going to create erosion. So I'm not quite sure. I know that he was also settled with the DEP previously for having a stop work order on Whisper Drive and working anyways. So my question would be, who is monitoring that to make sure that the stop work order is actually being monitored and in place? Thank you.
Thank you,
Anything?
Ms. Brochu.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? I see nobody on. I see lots of people. Oh, we do. Yes, over there. Thank you.
Members of the board, my name is Kelly Hashi. I'm a resident of the neighborhood, unlike some people who don't even live in Bangor already. I am vehemently against this development. The size is too big. It's unsafe for the residents right now. There aren't even any people living there. For driving and pedestrians, it's an environmental devastation. I'm against this development. I have no interest at all in the rich getting richer. I have no interest in overpopulation of Bangor or of Maine. The environment is more important to me. It has to do with us surviving on this planet than the overpopulation of Bangor. The price we have paid so far for what has been done is way too high, and I have no interest at all in being a victim for greed or intrusion of others. I have a right to protect my neighborhood. I have a right to protect my property, my pursuit of happiness, and my investment. We've been disrespected by the local media, developer, and city of Bangor. It isn't like this in southern Maine. In less than 2 hours from here, I got printed in the southern Maine papers. I can't even get heard in this area at all. There was a smaller development in Gardner recently, within the last month. They had 19 meetings with their planning board. Some of them went to midnight. They were not buzzed off in 3 minutes. We are pushed along like we are an annoyance. This is a global world and we will be heard. It is our First Amendment right and we will never be silenced.
Thank you. I have somebody on Zoom with raised hand. It looks like Mr. Douglas. Could we bring Mr. Douglas in on Zoom? And I believe he may be there and needs to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Miss Douglas.
Yep. My name's Michelle. I live at 647 North Front Street. I wish I was there for the meeting, but I just got out of work, so I couldn't make it. But I'm just concerned. I have mentioned this before. My basement, I just fixed a couple years ago. It caused over $15,000 worth of damage of water coming runoff from on the top of the hill behind my house and flooded my basement. I had video that I had shown you guys. I'm afraid if this is being built or anything should happen, my house will get flooded again in my basement. I don't have this kind of money to spend again. If it happens, are they going to reimburse me to get this fixed again? That's one concern I have. Number two, me and my husband live right on the corner. I think John Terrio mentioned that the speed limit that they've done was 25 miles per hour is the high, what is the average speed? I'm sorry, I don't agree. Is very, very high. My corner, I get people running over my lawn. I get, snow plows pushed into my yard. So I have now marks. I mean, it looks awful in the spring because people are running over my lawn. Are you guys, over the years, we've had this problem over and over again. Is somebody going to fix this for me? Probably not, because you guys haven't in the past that I've complained. So people need to slow down. You guys need to put something, I don't care if you put something in my yard, put it across the street where the guardrail is, but please put something there. Really look at the speed. It's crazy. I'm afraid for kids on my street. I'm afraid for my safety, the animals that like to go for walks. I mean, we sat in our driveway the other night for like 10 minutes just talking, and all of a sudden we've seen people coming around the corner. I almost got hit a couple times as well. So traffic is I'm very concerned about the traffic. It's very fast on this corner. So if somebody can help me with my basement, if it gets flooded again, great. If somebody can fix my lawn in the spring when people are going over it in the winter or even anytime, I greatly appreciate that. Anything else you have to say? Anything?
Speed control. Yeah, so one of our main concerns here also is the speed control from coming on, what's that street?
Alden Street.
From Alden Street, excuse me, to North French Street up until what's that street?
Bill Street.
Up until Bill Street. This stretch of road, North French Street, people are doing like 35 and 40. Now, I don't know who did the traffic control, but you put the stop control sign up towards Essex Street, about 20 feet from the stop, to stop for Essex Street. I don't know
Thank
who
you.
thought of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you. Okay.
You want to hear what's? Again.
Do I push a button here?
No, I think
Oh,
it's
no,
probably
you're
already
good.
on.
Okay, I'm Sandy McIntosh, 55 East Broadway. I'm the last house on East Broadway. Number one, the road in front of my house is very narrow. If we park a car on the road, you're not going to get other trucks coming down through. In the last 2 days, I've had 30 great big dump trucks running that road, running that road, running that road. It's ridiculous. The dirt in my house. Are you guys going to pay for someone to come clean my house from all the dirt they're causing? It blows through the house. I got dust like this every day on everything. Number two, right down past my house by my shed on the side of, they put the water hole in. A water hole that's as big as this room full of mosquitoes. All summer they're breeding. The hole is green. Mosquitoes are coming in the house. The dogs are hitting them. I'm hitting them. I'm covered in mosquitoes because of their hole they put for the water that's draining from Essex Street down. Now, does this make sense? And I called the city to come sit at my house for an afternoon, have coffee with me, listen to the construction noise of the bulldozers, the trees being dug up, pushed down. You know what? After 2 days of calling, I was told by your lawyer to my lawyer not to call anymore. Is that fair to any of you? You wouldn't even come sit on my back deck and listen to what we're putting up with for 3 months, 4 months. You're not living there. You come to a quiet office and work. Then you go home to a quiet house. Is that fair? We here 8, 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes 7, construction going on. Where are you people? You wouldn't even come to my house to see the mess they made. They cleared that whole lot out there. You wonder about water runoff? There's not a tree left. And behind my house, they pushed a 20, 30-foot dirt behind my house. Then the other day, they brought down great big tree logs and plunked them behind my house with great big rock boulders. And by the way, my dogs, my cat are scared to death of the noise. You want me to come down? Do you have a room for me and my dogs? We'll come down here for a day to have peace and quiet with you guys. My dogs, one of them hides in the bathroom all day. My cat won't even go back out. Boom, 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 bang, bang, bang. Trucks dumping dirt, bringing dirt, bulldozers, trees coming down. And you wonder why you got water erosion. There isn't a tree left. They've taken everything down.
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah,
McIntosh.
yeah, thank
you.
you.
Thank
And then they brought dirt up to build up the stupid land
Ms. McIntosh,
8 or 10 feet
enough.
high.
that's enough. Thank you.
Well, listen to what I tell you. You wouldn't even come to my house.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's true.
Hi, my name's Don Logan. I live on 622 Essex Street. A few months ago, I had Bangor do a traffic survey for Essex Street. I believe they did 7,000 vehicles and 97% of those vehicles were speeding. My concern with this subdivision is we're going to have so much more traffic that it is going to be a hazard for small kids and these young people who want to move in there. I'd be worried about my children walking on the sidewalks or getting hit by a car. I can't even cross the street in front of my house because the cars are going so fast. You can ask your city, I forget who I had do the survey, but it's on record. Bangor Police, they're aware of it. They have done nothing whatsoever to fix this issue. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. I see no one else on Zoom. I see no more hands raised. I'm gonna say we're done with public comments this evening on this project. So the next thing we're gonna do is, because we're going to work on this project at least a couple more weeks. So the city codes require that we vote on preliminary plat at the same.
Chair. Could I have the floor for a moment? Were you going to offer time for rebuttal from the applicant? No? Okay.
Don't ask. What's that? Don't ask. We don't know unless if the applicant raises his hand, he can speak just like anyone else. But he didn't.
Typically, the applicant gets a chance to go last. The applicant usually can go first and again has opportunity for rebuttal.
Yeah, that's what we really talked about. Mr. Pease, it has been suggested by our attorney that you could rebut. I would expect you also to keep your comments brief and short.
They're going to be extremely brief, Mr. Chair. Thank you. My name is Tim Pease on behalf of the applicant with Rubin and Winchell across the street. I want to call everyone's attention back to your original comments, which is sticking to the criteria. I've got the same book that I used last week and still marked. The criteria are in there. There's about 50 or so. A lot of them are overlapping. So I would ask you to just stay focused on that. Thanks very much.
Thank you. That was brief. Appreciate it. Okay, so board members, unless you have any questions of what we've done so far, the code requires that we keep vote on the preliminary plat at the same meeting as the public hearing. And so we need a motion to keep the public hearing open until the meeting of December 5th, where we will entertain approval of the preliminary plat. So that would be a motion to extend the public hearing to December 5th.
Yeah, Chair, I make a motion that we keep the public hearing open until the meeting of December 5th as an extension. of the
second
public
that.
hearing.
Thank you, Member Hume, for the motion, and a second by Member Bazinet. I would look for a roll call vote on this. Member Basnet,
Yes.
member Boucher,
Yes.
member Brush,
Yes.
member Hayes,
Yes.
member Hume,
Yes.
member Mahar,
Yes.
and myself vote yes. So it's unanimous that we will extend the public hearing until the next meeting. I would also encourage the submittal of findings of fact regarding the standards of approval for the project from any of the parties involved. This will assist the board in documenting their decisions in this matter. I know the planning department is also going to help us with this, but that will get us to the next step, which is approval or not approval of a preliminary plat. And so with all that said,
Chair, can I, butt in real quick?
yes, Officer Colette.
It's okay. Staff wanted to make a recommendation that the board vote to accept the new material that's been provided up until today. Just so that the findings of fact that are provided can use all the material that's been received so far. So might just want to vote on that.
Sure. It's a lot of material. So I think probably specifically there was concern about new set of drawings, which is come in. I believe we now have a final set of drawings. We also have a lot more emails and presentations that we need to consider. And so we would be looking for a motion that we have received new information on this project and that we will consider that going forward. Good. Can I get a motion to that effect? Member Brush, you look confused.
I'm not sure what the motion, would you repeat the purpose of the motion?
Sure. Why don't I let Planning Officer Colette explain it, because she probably can better than me.
Because at the last meeting, you voted that the application was complete, but in the week that's passed, new material has been received, public comment has been received. The vote would be to accept all of that new material and the new testimony into the record for the project. And so that would be used to make the findings and the determinations at the next meeting.
Is this to accept material not yet received?
No, it's been received. All of the material received between last Tuesday and today.
Since last meeting. Since last meeting.
Does the motion need to be itemized?
No, I think it would just be to generally accept the material that's been received since last Tuesday up until today.
Did you want me to do it?
Member Mahar?
I'll give it a try. I would vote to accept the additional information we have received from the applicant since the last meeting and have that additional information be included in the application.
And the opposition.
And from the public. And from the public.
And yes, any additional information we have received will be included into the public record.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Member Hume, thank you. So again, a roll call vote. Member Bazinet,
Yes.
member Boucher,
Yes.
member Brush,
Yes.
member Hayes,
Yes.
member Hume,
Yes.
member Mahar,
Yes.
and myself, chair votes yes, so that's unanimous. Okay. We are done with that project for this evening, unless anyone else has any comments or questions.
Chair.
on that.
Could I have the floor?
City solicitor.
Regarding the suggestions for proposed findings of fact that may be submitted by the applicant and by the public if they wish. I believe the staff has a suggested, a deadline that we want to suggest for those submissions. And also the suggestion that I would suggest be made is that the proposed findings be with record references if they so choose to do so. If you know what that means. Okay.
So we don't really need a motion on that. I just need to clarify. So what's the date that we're thinking of on this?
November 29th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So to clarify on findings of fact for any of those that are interested, we are looking to get those in the planning department here at City Hall by email or mail, what have you, by November 29th. And what the city solicitor has suggested is that those include some documentation as to your findings of fact and reference substance behind the findings of fact. So in other words, not just why is this item traffic, let's say, acceptable or not acceptable, but reference something that shows that.
Chair, I think you may have misspoken. You said includes documentation. I don't think you expect any suggested proposed findings include documents, but references, if you so choose to submit any of those proposed findings.
Right. So I agree. The documentation would be nice, but we really don't need the documentation. We need reference to something that says why the findings of fact are that way. Is that clear of the mud? Okay. Okay, with all that said, then we are done with that project for this evening. Although the public hearing portion of that will extend until the next meeting. And so the only thing left on the agenda this evening, there were a couple of things. One was a new proposed land use, co-living communities. The staff has requested to postpone that item. I don't think we need to vote on that. And we have meeting minutes from October 17th of 2023. Please vote on this only if you're present at that meeting. And do I have any concerns or comments or questions with that particular set of meeting minutes? Seeing none, a motion, Mr. Hume?
I move that we accept the minutes of the October 17th planning board meeting.
Thank you, Member Hume. Do I have a second, Member Bazinet? And so all in favor of the meeting minutes, October 17th, a raise of hands will do. It's unanimous and we are all set. Unless board members have any other comments or questions, that completes our meeting this evening. I do wish everyone happy Thanksgiving.